parents, Mary and Steve Gueller, who have lived in the Holylands for a number of years. We won't disclose how many. Let's start with the bowling alley. So what year did Grandpa buy it?
He bought the bowling alley in 1964.
And how old were you?
13. No, the Bittners built the building. I think the Oligs were mixed in there somewhere. Wayne and Elsie Gangler, I think, were only in there for a short period of time, maybe 6 years. My dad, I think, was like, 35 maybe? 34 when he bought it. I was only in a bowling alley once in my life, I think, before he bought that place. He worked for United Parcel in Fond du Lac, and he was, United Parcel was just forming. They were just starting out, yeah. Right on the ground floor, and he was supervisor in Fond du Lac, and they wanted to move his position to Milwaukee. I can still remember my parents signing the papers in Ken Sippel's law office. So
that's what
I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. They were buying a bowling alley. I didn't understand the whole concept. Our family never bowled. I can't never remember my parents going in a tavern. So the whole concept of that era and what that place was. He had 2 shifts of league every night of the week up there. He had teams waiting. He had 3 or 4 senior leagues during the weekdays during the day. He had 100 junior bowlers on Saturday mornings. He had open bowling on Sundays, and people couldn't get on the lanes. They were reserved all day. And Fridays and Sunday nights we had bands downstairs. And Saturday nights he was open, but he didn't have bands. Friday nights he had cheaper entertainment, maybe a 3-piece band or something down there. Local bands, escapades. And then Sunday nights he had his main entertainment down there.
It was the elbow room first, before they put the addition on, right? Only beer, you couldn't have any liquor or anything. I was too young to go when it was the elbow room, so I've just heard stories about it. Everywhere we go, we hear of some couple that met there and is now married. Constantly, absolutely, yeah.
There'd be 400 people down there on a Sunday night.
Well, that's when it was the Twilight Zone, right?
That's when it was because we had probably the best entertainment bands in the state, because there weren't a lot of places that could keep them busy. These bigger bands on Sunday nights, and we couldn't afford to book them on a Friday, a Saturday. The rates were too high, so they came in on a commission basis on a percentage and a commission on a Sunday night. We actually had like Dion and the Belmonts and Gary Lewis down there, and we had people that came down there on a Sunday night, and they came down from Fond du Lac, and they said, well, we were bartending at such and such a place, and we shut the bar down because everybody's out here. That's how many people are out here. The whole Main Street would be full of cars, all the way down past the county garage, all the way up the hill by Bittners. We quit running bands because Grandpa ran bands for probably 20, 25 years at that time, and then the drinking and driving laws really changed. We were afraid for liability's sake we were going to end up sometimes getting an accident, and we were going to end up getting sued, so we just put a halt into it. Twilight Zone ran from 74 to probably maybe 84.
It was the place to go. The Twilight Zone was known all over. And there were people. And I started going down there because my brothers and sisters from Fond du Lac had gone down there.
That was sort of the disco era? Yeah, it was. And what happened was we went to Milwaukee one time when he was just putting the addition on. And I took my dad to a place called the Mad Hatter in Milwaukee, and it had like a plexiglass lit dance floor, and it was all synced to the music. And the whole place is all done up with black lights and strobe lights and stuff like that. And we came back thinking we were going to build a dance floor like that down there, but it was too costly. But we ended up getting a sound system. We did the whole thing up in neon lights and black lights, and that was my dad's vision.
Well, you led your dad into that vision.
When I took him to Milwaukee, he walked in that Mad Hatter. He just lit up. He knew that's exactly what he wanted. He always held his class and his dignity, and he handled people he always treated everybody so good with respect, even when things would get nasty, you know.
He had a real
everybody respected him.
easygoing way with the young kids, you know,
Yeah.
like the 18 to 23-year-old crowd. They all figured that he was their friend.
I wonder how many times somebody would come in a bar and they'd say, "You better get out to the dance hall, your dad's going to get knocked on his butt." And he'd be right in between a couple people going at it, and they'd always respect him. I worked 9 years, or 17 years for him. And I worked 9 years for him and getting my own business started before I had enough business to get started with. And Mary came along, she says, "You realize you've been working 9 years, the only time you took off is Monday night." So that was the end of the story. I had to tell my dad I was quitting. But then we had enough business finally built up where we could make a living at it.
We started in 1979 taking pictures. You were one. We took a lot of pictures of you. And then we started going to classes. And in 1980, we did our first wedding, and it was Jody Schrage, who lived on Main Street in Mount Calvary. And Bill Schneider was the second one, Bill and Joanne. They also have a business in Mount Calvary now, S&S Mechanical. We worked out of our house, and then we got to the portrait when we decided to do portraits. And the basement of the bowling alley was our studio. And the first family we did was Eugene and Nacella Kaiser, remember? It was for some anniversary that they had. Old-fashioned pictures where they didn't smile. The husband and wife did not smile. So they were the first family picture that we ever did.
Figured out one day we photographed probably 2,000 weddings between us. Yeah, we photographed separately. We didn't have any assistants or anything for 25 years. We both had a wedding on a weekend. Mom would go to a wedding and I'd go to a wedding.
We had gotten to the point where we were going to do this full time. And our lab reps all said to us, you know, what are your plans? Are you going to stay here? And we said, no, we think we'll probably move up into the valley. And we looked at studios in Oshkosh and Appleton, and we already had more business than they did, and they were established businesses. And so we just decided, well, why should we buy someone else's business when we have more business than they do? And the people of the Holy Land actually were so loyal and so good to us. And without them, we wouldn't have had this business. They came back year after year with all their kids, their families, their weddings. When Ryan started taking photographs with us, and was maybe a year into him taking wedding photographs, and we walked into a wedding, and I had taken almost all of the aunts and uncles' pictures of this bride and groom, their parents' pictures, like the whole relation. And we were in the back of church, and everyone kept coming by me and saying, "Well, hi, Mary, how are you today?" And Ryan was amazed. He was like, "Well, how do you know all these people?" I'm like, "I did all their weddings."
Parents' senior pictures, we did their baby pictures. You know, I have so many good memories working for Grandpa, you know, in a bowling alley. I think that's where we never would have had the nerve to go out and start our own business if it would have been for him, you know. But he did his business for 29 years. When he retired, I said to him, I said, "Dad, it's amazing, you're in business 29 years. I don't know how you did it." I says, "I'll never be in business that long." And now we've been in business 34. That's how fast the time goes.